All right, welcome back to RJK English. Let's see if we can finish off the last of Chapter 2. We've talked through a lot of things. I'll try not to stop so much and explain, and let's see if we can finish this up. Siddhartha is about to meet someone that we all have heard of, or hear about someone that we've all heard of. Okay, so Siddhartha was silent. He dwelt on the words of Govinda about he whose reflective pure spirit sinks into Atman knows bliss inexpressible through words. This fits what Siddhartha was saying, that learning doesn't seem to get you closer to knowing about Atman, about the world spirit, about true knowledge. So once when both youths, Siddhartha and Govinda, lived with the Samanas about 3 years and shared their practices, they heard from many sources a rumor, a report. Someone had appeared called Gautama, the illustrious, the Buddha. He had conquered in himself the sorrows of the world, this Buddha, and had brought to a standstill the cycle of rebirth. Remember, the cycle of rebirth is painful, according to this belief. He wandered through the country preaching, surrounded by disciples, having no possessions, homeless, without a wife, wearing a yellow cloak of an ascetic, but with a lofty brow, a holy man. So physically he looks like he's holy. And Brahmins and princes bowed before him and became his pupils or his students. This report, this rumor, this tale was heard and spread here and there. The Brahmins talked about it in the town, the Samanas in the forest. So we see here how in the English translation, Hesse is using this repeated phrases instead of having it broken up like and, but. It's this report, this rumor, this tale. So he's saying these are the aspects of, he's describing this hubbub or this gossip about the Buddha in different ways. The report, rumor, tale was heard and spread here and there. The Brahmins talked about it in the town, the Samanas in the forest. Everybody's talking about it. The name of Gautama, the Buddha, continually reached the ears of the young men, spoken of well and ill, in praise and scorn. So people are praising the Buddha, people are scorning him, but everyone's talking about him. Just as when a country is ravaged with the plague, we're seeing that right now through COVID, and a rumor arises that there is a wise man, a learned man, whose words and breath are sufficient to heal the afflicted. So he's setting up an image here, or a comparison. Just as when, so imagine that there's a country ravaged by the plague, and a rumor arises that there's a wise man who knows how to overcome this. Right now in India, there's so much with COVID that what if there was someone that had cured this? Everybody would be talking about it, right? And as the reports travel throughout the country, everybody speaks about it. Many believe and many doubt. So we can picture this now. Many, however, immediately go on their way to seek the wise man, the benefactor, this person. Many, however, immediately go on their way to seek the wise man, the benefactor, in such a way. So he set up the image and now he's doing the comparison. In such a way did that rumor, that happy report of the Gautama, the Buddha, the wise man from the race of Sakya, travel through the country. So what is this plague that we're comparing to? The cycle of rebirth, the pain of existence. Everybody wants it's like a plague. And everybody sees the Buddha. Race of Sakya, this is, sometimes the Buddha is called Sakya Muni. It means, I think, Lord of the Sakyas. The Sakyas were his people, the clan he came from. Traveled throughout the country. He possessed great knowledge, said the believers. He remembered his former lives. He had attained nirvana. One moment, I'm going to click out of, there we go. He had attained nirvana and never returned on the cycle. He plunged no more into the troubled streams of forms. We will talk about what this means. Many wonderful and incredible things were reported about him. He performed wonders. He conquered the devil. He had spoken with the gods. His enemies and doubters, however, this is the Gautama, the Buddha, said that Gautama was an idle fraud. Idle means you don't work. He's a fraud. He's lying. He passed his days in high living, scorned the sacrifices, was unlearned, he was uneducated, and knew neither the practices, meaning the sacrifices of the Brahmin priests, nor the mortification of the flesh, the killing of the body, which the samanas knew. The rumors of the Buddha sounded attractive. There was magic in these reports. The world was sick. Life was difficult. Here and there seemed life was difficult, and here and there seemed new hope. Here and there seemed to be a message, comforting, mild, full of fine promises. Everywhere there were rumors about the Buddha. Young men all over India listened, felt a longing and a hope. Everybody's excited. And among the Brahmins' sons in the towns and villages, every pilgrim and stranger was welcome if he brought news of the illustrious, the Sakyamuni, the Buddha. If anybody brought news, they were welcomed. The rumors reached the samanas in the forest and Siddhartha and Govinda, a little at a time, and every little item heavy with hope, heavy with doubt. So people are hanging on these words. Does he really conquer rebirth, or doesn't he? He had heard that this alleged Buddha had formerly been an ascetic, and had lived in the woods, had then turned to high living and the pleasures of the world, and he held no brief for this Gautama. So I think this is saying about Siddhartha. He had heard that this alleged Buddha had formerly been an ascetic, like Siddhartha, lived in the woods, had then turned to high living and pleasures of the world, and he held no brief for this Gautama. I actually don't know exactly what the person's saying here. Oh, we'll move on. Siddhartha, Govinda once again said to his friend, "Today I was in the village and a Brahmin invited me to enter his house, and in the house was a Brahmin son from Magadha." I think this is where the Buddha was from. He had seen the Buddha with his own eyes and had heard him preach. Truly, I was filled with longing, and I thought, I wish that both Siddhartha and I may live to see the day when we can hear the teaching from the lips of the Perfect One. My friend, shall we not also go hither and hear the teachings from the lips of the Buddha? Siddhartha said, I always thought that Govinda would remain. He's starting to make fun of Govinda, because now Govinda thinks maybe the samanas don't have it all, right? Siddhartha said, I always thought that Govinda would remain with the samanas. I always believed it was his goal to be 60 and 70 years old and still practice the arts and exercises which the samanas teach. But how little did I know Govinda? How little did I know what was in his heart? Now, my friend, you wish to strike a new path and go and hear the Buddha's teaching. Govinda said, it gives you pleasure to mock me, no matter if you do, Siddhartha. Do you not also feel a longing, a desire to hear his teaching? And did you not once say to me, I will not travel the path of the samanas much longer? So now we're seeing that maybe Govinda follows others, whereas Siddhartha is trying to find his own path. So Govinda liked the samanas, now he kind of likes the Buddha. Well, you could see it both ways here. Then Siddhartha laughed in such a way that his voice expressed a shade of sorrow, a little sorrow, and a shade of mockery. And he said, you have spoken well, Govinda. You remembered well, but you must also remember what else I told you. That I have become distrustful, not trustful of teachings and learning, and that I have little faith in words that come to us from teachers. But very well, my friend. I'm ready to hear that new teaching, although I believe in my heart that we have already tasted the best fruit of it. We already know the best of it. So Govinda replied, I am delighted that you are agreed, but tell me, how can the teachings of Gautama disclose to us its most precious fruit before we've even heard him? Siddhartha said, "Let us enjoy this fruit and await further ones, Govinda. This fruit, for which we are already indebted to Gautama, consists in the fact that he has enticed us away from the samanas." So he's grateful to Gautama that he got them both away from the samanas. Whether there are still other and better fruits, let us patiently wait and see. Siddhartha is suspicious. On the same day, Siddhartha informed the eldest samana of his decision to leave him. He told the old man with politeness and modesty fitting to young men and students, but the old man was angry that both young men wished to leave him, and he raised his voice and scolded them strongly. Govinda was taken aback, but Siddhartha put his lips to Govinda's ear and whispered, "Now I will show the old man that I have learned something from him." He stood near the samana with his mind intent. He looked into the old man's eyes and held him with his look, hypnotized him, made him mute, conquered his will just with a look, commanded him silently to do what he wished. He had hypnotized the old man. The old man became silent. His eyes glazed over like this. His eyes glazed. He was crippled. His arms hung down. He was powerless under Siddhartha's spell. Siddhartha's thoughts conquered those of the samana. The samana, must perform what they commanded. He had to perform what they commanded. And so the old man bowed several times, gave his blessings, and stammered his wishes. You can go. This is stammering. Stammered his wishes for a good journey. The young men thanked him for his good wishes, returned his bow, and departed. On the way, Govinda said, "Siddhartha, you have learned more from the samanas than I was aware," this way of hypnotizing. It is difficult, very difficult, to hypnotize an old samana. In truth, if you had stayed there, you would have soon learned to walk on water. Siddhartha says, "I have no desire to walk on water. Let the old samanas satisfy themselves with such arts." And now they're on their way. That's the end of chapter 2. Again, this end, remember, Hesse comes from Christian background. Walking on water is something Jesus did. He walked on water. And by referencing this, Hesse is kind of pointing out that walking on water is something small and that his Siddhartha will be better than Jesus. He's already shown us a hint that he thinks he'll be better than the Buddha. We'll see. But that he's better than Jesus. That Jesus walked on water, this is not what Siddhartha wants. Siddhartha wants unity with God and freedom from the cycle of rebirth. The Buddha means awakened one, someone that woke from sleep. Sakyamuni, the sage of the Shakya. This is Siddhartha Gautama's clan, the Shakyas. What does Gautama or Gautama mean? It means the enlightened one, the one that has seen truth, been enlightened, or awakened. The forms. It mentioned that the Buddha was beyond the forms. These are the three forms, or rupas. They are material forms, the physical objects that we touch or that we smell or feel. Visible objects seen by the eyes. And name of form or mind and body, which is consciousness. The Buddha is beyond all of these. That's also, I think, what Siddhartha is looking for. We'll see. But that's similar to what Siddhartha is looking for. And again, Hesse's Siddhartha has similarities to the Buddha. Okay? So I hope this was instructive. We'll start next time with chapter 3. Notice that Hesse moves between little action and more about describing phenomena, and then suddenly there's action when they encounter the old man and Siddhartha shows his power. So this is Hesse's going back and forth between these. Okay? All right, I'll see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe. All right? Bye.